Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here today, and I wanted to introduce my new bike, the Svartpilen 401. I bought a 2021 model and I wanted to give a bit of an intro to the bike and explain in very brief terms why I bought it. So these are obviously built off the same platform as the KTM 390s, which has a nice high performance single cylinder in it. They've got nice, fairly high spec suspension as well, considering the price and where they sit in the segment. They've also got a really nice powerful brake on the front as well, which is a bit of a standout in the category. And overall, I will say that the KTM and the Husqvarna package, the 390s and the 401s, they really do kind of offer great value. And particularly this bike, which I bought as an MY21, so a previous year model, I got it for 7,000 on the road here in Australia. Originally, I was actually thinking of buying a little 150 or a 200cc bike to do a bit of kind of a video series on the smaller capacity bikes. However, the sheer value of this particular offering was just hard to beat. And as a result of that, instead of going the smaller capacity bikes where I might have saved about $1,000, I actually went the discounted year run out model of the 401. And I'm really happy I did because I've tested one of these bikes before. They're a nippy little machine, they're fun to ride, great performance, great handling, quite an aggressive machine. And of course, as you can see here, the styling stands out like nothing else. Really, there is the Svartpilen 401, which is this model with the more upright ergonomics and it's more of a scrambler. And then there's the Vitpilen, which is the cafe racer version of this bike as well. And it's a similar kind of thing. You could pick one of those up, possibly if there are any still in stock, discounted as last year's model. And it's a great value machine, but it's a more aggressive machine. Now, certainly $7,000 for a bike like this, to me, is an absolute steal when we're talking about a brand new motorcycle. And I wanted to check out what was on offer here and really kind of explore the scrambler side of motorcycling, because we all know how popular adventure motorcycles are. And one of the questions I often ask is, for people who are kind of interested in dipping a toe into the adventure side of things, it's like, if you're doing 90% road or 95% road, how much do you need to invest to try out the adventuring side of things? And I think a scrambler is the perfect option for doing that in a very, very light way. You've still got a great road bike, but you've got some dual purpose tires. You can take it on something that's a little bit rougher, maybe something that would make you think twice on a regular road bike, like the Duke 390 or the RC 390. However, on a bike like this, you go, oh, I've got the tires to suit. I'm just gonna take it down this track like I did today. This is just a very short track and there's been a bit of rain, so it's a little bit muddy and a little bit treacherous. I could do it probably on any bike. However, on this, it's a bit more fun and you can have a bit more of an explore, and you can really enjoy the fact that you've got the dual purpose tires and not worry quite so much about getting bogged. Now, certainly there's a lot of standouts on this bike as far as the overall styling. We've got this really cool kind of bodywork which runs from the tank all the way to the tail of the bike. Obviously, it's not a single piece of bodywork. It is kind of compartmentalized into those two pieces. But the styling on this bike is really very, very unusual. And while there are a couple of scramblers available now in various forms, at the end of the day, I think these stand out the most because they've got the spoked wheels, which are a really cool inclusion. You've got that high performance single. Obviously, with the trellis frame, there is a little bit of messiness kind of here where you can see all the wiring and everything like that. However, let's be realistic. It's hard to get past that if you're going to do this kind of minimalistic bike. And certainly these are a light machine as well. So for a new rider perspective, they're going to be quite an inviting machine. The one caveat to that is that these have a taller seat height than quite a lot of the other bikes. And as a result of that, that is going to make them a little bit more challenging for the shorter riders. However, if you can get a foot down flat or reasonably flat, I still think it's a great option. So what about downsides on the Svartpilen 401? Okay, so I guess we've got to be honest here. I would say the aftermarket support for this bike is quite limited compared to even say the Ninja 400, which we've had for a number of years now. That's been a great machine, and certainly when you go and look for accessories for that bike, not only are there a good amount of OEM accessories available as genuine accessories, however, the aftermarket support is enormous because they've sold so many of them. I've been looking at accessories for this bike, and while they are out there, there's by no means kind of the same availability and the same range. So it'll be interesting to see what I can get to suit this particular bike. A couple of other niggling little things. The dash on this is a really unusual unit, and while it does kind of suit the style of the bike, I think for a lot of people they're going to look at that and find it quite ugly. I'd be quite interested to see whether you can get kind of a carbon fiber cover or something like that to spruce up that dash a little bit, because I think the dash actually works quite well. It's just the fact that it's got this quite ugly plastic cover which needs something over it to really spruce it up. Apart from that, it does have this kind of luggage rack on the tank. It'd be really cool to replace that either with some luggage which will mount onto it, or of course with something that looks a little bit nicer. However, again, that's part of the rugged kind of scrambler appeal. So the bike really does tick a lot of the boxes for me, and it's quite an esoteric choice that stands out from the crowd. Obviously the KTM 390s have very distinct styling to start off with. Husqvarna has taken the distinct styling to a whole nother level on these bikes. All right, so you're a new rider and you're thinking, is this something worth considering? As I said, I think the scrambler idea is a really cool one. You've got a little bit of off-road capabilities. I'll be interested to see just how far that goes below the surface. I know on something like a 390 Adventure, you get quite good off-road capabilities. However, you are paying significantly more than you would for a Svartpilen 401, particularly if you're buying a brand new model and not like a run-out stock from the year before. So that is worth considering. And again, I think the value side of things is really important, particularly if we're talking new riders, because not everyone's going to have $10,000 to spend on a bike, and perhaps you'll be able to pick one of these up secondhand if you can't afford one new, which might be another consideration for you. I do think it has all the bases covered as a new rider bike. The seat height being a little bit tall is probably the one area which stands out. However, these are super light, they're quite agile, so they are a little bit more aggressive in the handling department than some of the other options in the segment. As a result, that might be a little bit more intimidating. However, I think the thrills on a machine like this is exceptional. It's got a little bit of the dirt bike feel to it with that single cylinder engine, but it does get nice and smooth and quite sporty in comparison to that dirt bike feel as the revs rise. And really, they're a quite exceptional little machine that the more I ride it, the more impressed I am. And certainly I feel like I'm going to only get more and more impressed with this bike, and eventually we're going to sell the Ninja 400 that we've had since almost 2018. This will be the replacement bike in the garage as the all-rounder that does everything for us. So if you've got any questions at all about the Svartpilen 401, let me know down below in the comments. As always, I'll do my best to answer them. If you've got any ideas about what you'd like seen done with this bike, I can't promise, but I will do my best to kind of cover that kind of topic. If you've got any requests, and if you've got any new rider requests as well, let me know. As always, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.